80 The Fan, Joe Fisher, Rashad Taylor,
What up, though?
Jordan Schultz behind the glass. Woo! How we doing this Sunday morning, boys? We doing all right? We doing good?
Man, suitcase full of hundreds, bro.
Go Gadget radio station?
Absolutely. Do you know who Inspector Gadget is?
Yes, I know who Inspector Gadget
Well,
is.
That
I'm
is
saying,
the
you're a little
best
young.
shirt.
Come on.
Well, thank you, man. And I'm loving the Blazers PDX carpet
Appreciate
looking there.
you.
They're still Mariner colors, but I mean,
Damn right.
you know, showed your variety today.
Hey, it's the last day of the season. It's a merciful end for Portland Trailblazers fans. Scoot's been playing well last couple of games. I might have to eat a little crow after that 30
I'm sure you're not happy about that.
You know what?
God
Hey,
forbid the Blazers' number 3 overall pick actually does something good. Damn it!
Actually plays like Brandon Miller's been playing for the Charlotte Hornets all
Yikes.
season.
Jordan's like,
Yikes.
damn, this does not help my take here.
Brandon
No,
Miller's
it does
really
not.
good, but I mean, we'll talk about the Blazers at some point, but I have to say this, and I'm not sure if you guys ever really noticed it when watching the Blazers. We don't play well in other jerseys.
At all? Oh,
well, no, but there's that.
in other
but
jerseys.
when we wore the PDX jerseys, we didn't play extremely well in those. When we wore the jerseys that were created for the play-in, like the plaid kind of print on the Portland or the PDX sign, we didn't play incredibly well in those. Like when we kind of start,
I want to say those poopy brown Oregon jerseys that we had. That was that the
God-awful.
2020 season?
that was hopefully long enough to forget.
I think Melo was here with those.
Yeah. Those I have a Mellow jersey, by the way. I was debating on wearing that or just like Blazers jacket status today. Kind of a random one that in 20 years I'll probably look back on and laugh, but still wear. But that brown jersey, wasn't that like a Native American tribute or something like
It
that?
was just like an Oregon tribute. Like they put like the
was very stupid.
The orange, red, and blue that was on it was like dedication to the painted hills out there in John Day. And it also had like I think the topographic lines on it for like a topographic map for like elevation change.
Why is it brown? Why is it brown?
And the logo was cursive on the front.
Like, why is
the
it
origin
brown?
was so weird.
Poopy brown.
Didn't like that
Poopy
one.
brown for the Blazers.
We've had some great jerseys, but some really bad ones too.
Yeah.
They've never gone classic throwback 90s. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do
Just
that.
give me a straight up Blazers 98-99 like
I want
throwback
the-
jersey for a game or two.
That
I
was
want the
good.
Blazers one where it's Blazers vertically, like going down.
Yeah.
The 70s, 77?
Yeah.
That was the
The
championship season one.
That's what I
They
want to see.
made
They've
those
done that a
again.
couple times.
Like I had a Rasheed Wallace one. That went down like that. Like was pretty dope. I was thinking about this, and I know you were about to say something, Joe. Forgive me, but if you like made a
I
collection,
don't forgive you.
well, please, man.
All right, fine.
If you made it like if you start talking about all the guys that played for the Blazers, like it's a pretty dope ass roster of people that have come through and played for this team. Sans some of the people we've had recently.
I was gonna
you
say
know,
right now.
Yeah, but like Rod Strickland played for the Blazers at a point. And it was
Twice.
cold. You know what I mean? Like, was it Derek Anderson? Played for the Blazers and was really good here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
These are our two that we're going
Why
for.
are you laughing?
saying-
DA was one of my favorite Blazers as a
Rasheed
kid.
Wallace.
Yeah, don't
Rasheed
know if
Wallace
Derek
played
Anderson was
here.
leading the Blazers to a lot of
They
playoff
were
victories.
playing well with
In-
Derek Anderson. Yeah.
In his first season when he started, he was
Yeah.
scoring a lot of points for them. So
Yeah.
shut up,
Well,
Joe.
Delano Banton scores a lot of points for the Blazers right
Delano
now.
Banton is
so-
good, man. Delano Banton, I'm telling you,
Dude, somebody's
you don't just get
somebody's got to score 30.
Listen, you don't just get buckets. Even if you're on a trash team, you don't just get buckets like that every night and you're not cold. Like Steph was getting blown out the water his first couple years in Golden State before he really got a chance to let loose. Like, what if you never know? What if Banton is what you were looking for? What if he's Jalen Brunson? Nobody saw that coming in Dallas.
I bet you Delano Banton has a 2-way contract in the net in 2 seasons.
If the Blazers drafted Jalen Brunson, he would have turned into his daddy, Rick Brunson, who played for the Blazers as well. By the way.
I don't know.
This is way too much Blazers talk to start a Sports Sunday, and plus we have plenty of time for that in the second hour.
We do.
Actually,
But one quick little to give you a
but
quick.
here's more.
No, just a fun note. Damian Lillard, Brandon Roy, Bill Walton have all worn that Blazers jersey that you talk of,
The
Joe.
one with the font down the side.
Yes, so that is probably like peak. Like, it's funny that Rashad mentions all the great names. That is one of the jerseys that you could probably find on eBay with like all the great names. So it's pretty
that's
fun.
dope.
Good pick.
So yeah, second hour we're gonna actually have Brandon Sprague on to tie a bow on this Blazers season. I tried to get Mike Richmond of I believe Locked On Blazers, and he has his own podcast. He does a great job. I asked Sprague for his number, and when I asked for it, Sprague said, "Why?" I'm like, what do you think? Like, I want to go have lunch with the guy? Like, no, I want him on the show. And then there was a long pause between text messages from when he asked that to when he gave me the number. I bet you he texted Mike. He said, "Hey, you're going to get a text from this guy, Joe Fisher. Just say that you can't. Just say that
you're
you
busy.
can't do the show,
I'm booked,
all right?
bud.
He's gonna hit on you, okay?
Yeah,
just so you know.
Just don't do the show, all right?" So I got Sprague instead. But I feel like there was a moment yesterday where I had to bring up, because I was at the Portland Timbers match and saw a couple people there, a friend of mine, but there was one person from the fan that I saw. And I was in a section that was like right near one of the tunnels to go into the concourse, the concessions area. So there was a bunch of people walking back and forth and by me. And who do I see? I see one, Jason Swigard.
All right, Swag.
Yeah, I see him walking by, and I just let out a Swigard, and he gives me a quick turn. "How you doing?" And then starts and just keeps walking, and then walks into the tunnel. And I was like, I think Swigard just big timed me.
That absolutely is big time G.
I think he just heard his name
And was like, hey,
and assumed it was just a
Some
listener
fan.
or someone that
Someone's
knows
a
of
fan.
him from his Portland Pilots fame,
We think.
his Hillsborough Hops fame.
Here's the situation.
And yeah, it was a quick, "How you doing?" And then he kept it moving. And then I was like, huh.
maybe he really wants to get back to the
I'm
game.
like, okay. I think it was during the game. Like, it wasn't during halftime or anything like that. And he came back, 2 beers in hands, and I was like, "Hey, Swigard, how's it going?" And he was like, "Oh, it's going great." And I'm like, "Well, I'd give you bones right now, but you're double fisting beers right now, so."
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
"How we all doing today?" He says to me and Joey and the girlfriend. And I'm like, "Hey, doing good, as long as we keep a lead, right?" And then he goes about his merry way. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he just gave me a Swigard big time.
Yeah, absolutely. He either that or he was really in a rush. Like, I want to get back. I don't want to miss any of the action, which is weird because soccer is a long game. So,
But there's no commercials.
and there's no commercials, right? And so, but still,
I will
it's
say-
long enough for me to be able to hang around and be like, bro, what's up?
He
What are you up
probably did it right though, because I went to the concessions and the restroom like right before halftime started. Absolute mess. Like, that was, dear God, just jam packed, shoulder to shoulder, ass to ass in the concourse, trying to wait for some popcorn and beers. So he went, I think, with like 10 minutes left to go in the first half.
Well,
He's
so,
an
yeah,
expert.
there you
And
go.
yeah, he was in and out, bam, bam, had 2 beers ready to go. But yeah, Swigard was there, and I feel a little offended. He gave me the quick, "How you doing?" and then just kept her moving.
You should
That's
say
so
something to
Swigard.
him. We should call him.
Hold on, everybody.
We should call him and tell him he's on the air and tell him to apologize.
And then
for that.
Joey, he pointed out, he's like, "Does he have a customized jersey?" And I look,
Uh-oh.
and sure enough, he was wearing a customized Portland Timbers Swigard jersey. And I was saying to Joey and my girlfriend, I was like, "All right, I think there's got to be like an age cutoff on customized jersey."
12?
You know, that's the second customized jersey from a middle-aged man I've seen in the last month. That one Swigard with the Portland Timbers, and then Jake the Hater has a customized PDX carpet jersey
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, he does.
that
Yeah.
says
awesome.
Jake the
Yeah.
Hater on the back, which
Yeah.
I'll give him
Shout
somewhat
out to
credit for
Jake.
that, for the branding aspect of it. But still, a grown man wearing a customized jersey.
Well, at least it doesn't say his last name on there. Like, it's clearly like a tongue-in-cheek type thing. Like, that's my nickname, you know, Jake the Hater and everything. Shout out to my guy Jake the Hater too, you know what I'm saying?
You guys
Uh,
might have to replace me as your producer then.
But man, wait a minute. Jordan, how many
many
Mariners
customized
jerseys do you have that say Schultz on the back of them? How many?
I have got like a 2000s Mariners jersey that says Schultz. I've got like an old Blazers red jersey. Remember when
We're going multiple here.
Yeah, remember the first time they came out the red jerseys in the 2000s?
Plural
So
customized
wait,
jerseys.
so how old were you when you got these?
The Mariners one, I was 18. The Blazers
Passable.
red, I was 14.
Passable.
The green was a gift for so I got Mariners teal green, but it was like my first ever authentic Major League Baseball jersey.
Right.
Like not the replicas,
Not the print,
ones
not
that,
with the print on the, not the, yeah.
No, this cost $300. It was still when they were made out of that majestic wool, so it's nice and thick. Feels good.
Right. Pause.
That Mariners teal. You're funny.
A lot of jacking right now.
Yeah.
Had to be immature, didn't you, Joe?
I don't know. That was the
So
computer.
so
That
at
was
what
a
age-
gift for my dad at about 25.
Okay. Do you wear that one like to
You've
Mariner
seen me wear
games?
that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've worn that one in the studio. I've worn it to Mariner games.
Okay.
I've worn it just out.
That one because it was a gift from your dad. Okay. Like again,
I didn't buy it myself.
passable. Yeah, as long as you're not buying. And the other one, you're 18, you're 14, you're a kid. Like that totally makes sense at that point. But once you're like 27, 28, like there's no honestly, I don't think you should be wearing men's jerseys.
jerseys
at that
at
point
all?
Oh.
I feel
okay.
like throwback jerseys, like a hardwood classic, a Mitchell and Ness.
Got to be somebody
Depending
that
on what it
yeah,
is, like
Like a Clyde the Glide.
Some-
Like legit.
passable.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's got to
okay.
be pretty. It's got to be pretty.
But if you're wearing a
pretty
Scoot
cool.
jersey, like, what are you
You're a
doing,
little
bro?
creep.
What are you doing?
Well, what about like family jerseys? Like if my wife and I, we want to do Mr. and Mrs. Schulte. Like we got to go buy those ourselves though. Or like if we did those
like a
with,
customized him in her jersey.
yes, and then like with the kids
I'm with
as well.
stupid. It says on the back or something like that on the name.
If you're a Mariner fan that is as devoted as I am, that's what my wife would
Is this
wear,
your
yeah.
wife's idea?
Yes, she
Then
was the
yes.
one that said
Then-
I want to do this.
Then I
babe."
think you have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Wait a minute. You strike me as a matching PJs on Christmas type of guy.
Oh,
Is that
damn
you?
right.
Is that you?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I knew it.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Are you doing that?
No, absolutely no.
Okay. I was
Sorry,
gonna say
bud.
I'm out
No.
on that as well.
Yeah, there's not a chance in hell you're getting me to take pictures with all of us wearing the same flannel pajamas.
Hey, it's comfy, babe.
All right. Hey, I threw up a poll question for the show today.
You did.
Yes, I did. I was curious what the people were going to be watching today. Was it are you watching the Masters, the final round of the Masters? Are you watching the final day of NBA action? All 30 teams are playing today to get the playoff seeding filled in. And I also put other and touching grass as the fourth option, meaning you're not watching anything
you're
and you're
outside.
enjoying the day. You are gardening, golfing, just doing something where you aren't in front of a TV. Right now, final round at the Masters, running away with it, 50.8%. Second is touching grass, 23.1%. Third place is other, 20%. And the final day of the NBA season, 6.2%.
Wow.
Ouch.
A
Yeah.
lot of local upset fans there.
Yeah. I mean, no one really wants to watch Blazer basketball, number one. So I assume that's who most teams or most people would be watching, especially from this area, are the Blazers play. But yeah, at this point, no one. This has been a bit of a letdown of an NBA season.
Yeah,
but like
We can get to this at some point because I do want to talk about the NBA playoff scenarios because there's still a lot to be decided. I want to say it's like 15 out of the 20 seeds are up for grabs today. But yeah, I kind of want to talk about that because I don't know if it's just a local Portland thing where our team sucks so bad that we don't care
We're
about the rest of the
disengaged.
league, or if it's an NBA thing in general where the NBA is just kind of fallen by the wayside when it comes to like they're a distant second now when it comes to the most popular sports in America. Like it's football, and then NBA is kind of just starting to fall down the radar and starting to be on par with like MLB and NHL and golf and that's just kind of the vibes I get, but we can talk about it a little bit more. You can share your thoughts on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6FAN. That's 503-864-6326. All text to the fan or via the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit VancouverFord.com. Where I do want to start, though, Rashad, he was just texting me all night last night saying Bud, we got to start with the Masters. We got to start with golf.
I don't know how we can start with anything else.
Yes, it is the final round at the Masters, and I think that you will be surprised about my feelings on the Masters in the game of golf right now. We get to that next year. Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax.
Like during the break, we get all our good stuff out, then come back on air, and it's still pretty good. But
Dude, I'm hot. I'm bothered.
I think this would be. We're passionate about this.
Yes.
Don't ever play that again.
What was the context of that, by the way?
We were talking about the. I want to say something that had to do with either lions or tigers.
I was gonna say tigers. That's kind of what that's.
One of those two. You know what I'm saying? That's
lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Oh my! You know, we were talking something to do. You know, with that.
Well, this segment we could talk a little bit of Tiger. But really, I wanted this to be an all-encompassing Masters segment because, quite honestly, like, this is the Masters. It's the greatest sporting event in the game of golf all year long. And I have just found myself more frustrated than anything. Yeah, this music will go well with me being pissed off. Because
you have any Rage Against the Machine back there?
I need you to do your rant like this, Joe. Do it like this.
Because right now,
I'm kidding.
the only Masters that I can watch is Tiger Woods, which, yes, it is Tiger Woods, but he is literally dead last. He shot 10 over par yesterday for his worst round at the Masters ever, an 82. But what also just pissed me off, especially about yesterday, Thursday this happened as well, is their selection of the coverage of what you can watch is so annoying and just pisses me off because let me give you Thursday, for example. The Masters is about to begin. They have the honorary starters out. I believe it was Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus,
Gary Player.
Gary Player was out there, the honorary olds out there to hit off the first tee. And then what happens? All right, folks, there we go. We have our honorary starters, and the Masters is officially underway.
Old, rich, white guys looking awesome out there.
But
God,
we're actually not going to let you watch it for the first hour where there's no broadcast. So the actual golfers started, and you couldn't watch it for like another hour and an hour and a half.
Well, maybe they felt like they could kind of provide some more compelling.
Oh, yeah, more than the golf, the actual golf that is being
Potentially.
played.
Wait, like
Maybe-
nowhere on ESPN Plus you could watch
No,
this?
there was nothing available for the first like hour and a half. Couldn't watch anything.
Except for Tiger.
No, on Thursday, nothing.
Oh, Thursday, nothing.
It
Oh,
was
okay.
like because there was a delay also. So I think it started at 7:30. There was no way to watch any Masters until like 8:30, 8:45, 9, something like that. And so I'm like, all right, cool. What a start. And then we get to the Masters yesterday, where this is moving day, the final round. You could not watch Masters coverage. If you have the Masters app or ESPN Plus, there's like featured groups and featured holes. Yesterday, the featured group that I had to watch was Rory McIlroy, and he was like 9 strokes off the lead. And then some other dude, Camilo Villegas, who had a popped-up collar. That was pissing me off the entire time, too. He did
collar?
have the collar itself. He did have some fresh, low Jordan 1s, so I will give him that. But I had to watch that for like 2.5 hours. And then the official broadcast started at noon. The leaders had already teed off. Like the leaders at the top of the Masters leaderboard on round 3, moving day, they were already like 2-3 holes into their round. And then they showed up. I had to find Scotty Scheffler, his first hole yesterday. He chipped in from 32 yards out. Pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
That was
impressive.
beautiful.
Yeah, didn't see it. I actually had to find out from the commentator who was following Rory's group. He's like, do you want me to tell you guys how Scotty just finished his first hole? And they're like, yeah, please do. He just chipped out from 32 yards out. I'm like, well, that would have been cool to see, like live watching that, but I guess not. No. All right. Thanks, guys. And so now today, you got to wait until I believe 11 is when the coverage starts. So you will actually be able to see the leaders tee off today. Thank God, right? But this is what it's been like.
maybe that's what they've been saving it for. Is just for Sunday is when you're going to get all the shebang.
Sunday at the Masters, it's
that's the really the sacred day.
it is the
of
main
Masters.
event. Yeah, exactly. But again, like as someone who wants to watch the Masters, the entire tournament, like from beginning to end, the fact that they are so selective in how they choose, and I understand like golf has names, but when Rory McIlroy, and yeah, I know how big of a name he is 9-10 strokes off the lead, like doesn't have a chance yesterday, the way that he was golfing, I was just like, dude, I don't want to watch this. Like, can I show the guys that are actually have a chance, that are climbing up the leaderboard? Another example, Colin Morikawa, who I believe is a stroke off the lead. He's right there at the top of the leaderboard. He birdied his first 3 holes yesterday. Didn't see any of them. And what are we
on
doing
a Saturday with you're talking about like way less golfers
Right.
available to cover, and they still don't
Yes.
have that as a
Yeah,
featured
dude,
guest.
it's just so frustrating. And then outside of the coverage of the Masters itself, the golfers, whenever I see the live golfers out there, like whatever, as far as their decision goes, whatever. But it is frustrating because 2020, the game was in such a great spot. we were heading into this like post-Tiger era, and the game was in a really good spot as far as talent goes, rivalries, personalities, and then it all got effed up because of this live stuff. And now a lot of these guys that are participating at the Masters, it just, whenever I see their face, I'm just like, dude, really? Like, you really had to, you guys really had to make this decision and screw this all up. Like, really.
Man,
because
they were giving out a lot of money for live, man. Like,
trust me, I've said it in every walk of life. If someone were to offer you 10 times the amount that you've ever made in your whole career of work, your whole work career, just as like a signing bonus, yeah, we would all do it.
I'm done. Yeah, I got to go. So I understand that it kind of put a wrinkle in things, but still, I think you've got some amazing golfers out there. I'm looking at the leaderboard, and like you said, Tiger's dead last, and that's how many great golfers. I think the media coverage is going to be on Tiger Woods. Like, I'm not surprised that they put Woods and Rahm together, and as far as having the camera follow around arguably the greatest golfer of all time, so that makes sense, even if he is dead last. What they should be doing is flexing stuff out. Like, I've always hated if we're watching an NFL game, like, and the score is 35 to 3. Like, bro, can we get another game?
We can kill this.
Yeah, we can kill it. Yeah, this game is over. Like, but there's a game that's not televised on CBS, on Fox, on whatever. Man, just give us that one instead. Like, I wish they were able to do that more, because yes, if Tiger's dead last, and let's say he shoots another near 82, I don't think he's going to do another 82.
I will say, you guys, I do remember, not only were there, not just because it's like you go to ESPN Plus, there's one featured group this year, the normal Amen Corner, and then the 13th, 14th, and 15th coverage at the Masters. On top of that, last year, I swear, they had at least 4 other featured groups covered. And so I don't know if they've just done a reduction in staff this year, but not only that, they had so many different features going on at the Masters. Like, Joe, you're talking about the start time, but at least with that delayed start time, sometimes they had some really good coverage. And I'm not talking boring Marty Smith interviews. I'm talking Mike Tirico at the clubhouse, Mike Tirico out, where the $1.50 egg salad sandwiches are, showing you kind of what you're missing not being at the Masters. Last year, in 2023, I was sitting there with my wife, and even she, who's a pretty fair weather sports fan, is like, oh my God, this is very interesting. It's fun. It makes me want to be there.
Well, maybe that's what their goal is with this coverage, is like, don't give them too much, because we want people to get, this is the Masters, this is Augusta, right? Like, you have to be here to experience.
So to decrease the amount from last year, though? No, you make it a great point,
as far
Joe.
as that goes, but
it sucks. Not as much available.
Yesterday was just like, really? We have our leaders teeing off, and I can't watch it. I am forced to watch guys that don't have a chance at this point in the tournament.
Yeah, no, I think it's silly, and this is where I think it's important to be able to pivot, and especially in when we're talking television or compelling television. Like, if I don't want to watch a blowout, and again, I don't want to. If we're talking about golf, I want to see everybody, and when you're seeing everybody, you're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's okay. Like, you can show all that, but don't give me obviously Tiger Woods because he's Tiger Woods.
But again, when he's like this, it's like, dude.
Again, so and that's what I'm saying. If I would rather see what Max Homa is able to do, at this point, especially being third on the leaderboard now. Like, yeah, show me that. Show me everybody as opposed to just who you decided to put the spotlight on. Tiger doesn't need any more spotlight. I think he's had plenty. And so now this was an opportunity, especially as we're getting into this more digital age of everything, and you see now it used to be just Masters was on Channel 6, used to be on CBS, and that was the only way you can see anything.
And again, the coverage today, I'm pretty sure it starts at 11 a.m. and goes until 4, so that way you can see the leaders.
It's not even tape delayed. Like, even if you showed me what happened earlier, that would be cool, but you don't even get that part. So yeah,
right now currently you can watch Woods and John Rahm's group. And then you can watch holes 4, 5, and 6. So the players come through there. Amen Corner, and then holes 15 and 16.
And here's the cool part: this is the most Masters coverage ever. Like, that's a lot of things to show, and you still aren't showing the most important part, which is the actual golfers playing.
Well, and sometimes just to make sure I'm not losing my mind, like I jump on Twitter, right, and just search the latest tweets for Masters coverage or Masters broadcast to see what other people are saying. it's a consensus. Like there is not one. It's few and far between where people are like, oh yeah, they're nailing this coverage right now. It's a lot of like, why can't I watch? Why is this being shown 15, 20, 30 minutes after this group is teed off? Why? Like and trust me, the Brits aren't happy either. The Sky Sports is getting ripped a new one. People are not happy with the Sky Sports coverage over there in the UK. But again, it's frustrating. And again, seeing the live guys out there, that it frustrates me even more because of where things were a couple of years ago. The ratings have been decimated in golf over the last year. I believe they're like down 20% overall. But all can be saved today. It can all be made up to me if I win my Masters pool. If I can win myself some money, man.
What's it looking like? What's the
much
jackpot?
better than it was to start the day yesterday.
Okay.
I thought I had no chance, and then Pimento Cheese S ended up coming back, baby. And right now, it's looking good. We had honestly, this was one of the more sacrilege things yesterday. Was one of my buddies has Tiger Woods in his group, so I had to somewhat root for Tiger Woods to not play as well yesterday. I wasn't hoping he would shoot an 82 for God's sakes, but I did need Tiger not to play that well yesterday, and boy,
Well,
he did not.
You got your wish.
That's not.
because
I didn't want that.
He literally
okay?
had the worst day that he's ever had.
I
so.
did not want that. All right, but right now I'm one stroke off the lead. All right, I need Scotty to come through. Scotty Scheffler apparently is like his wife might have a baby today, so that's gonna be something to, I guess, keep an eye on. She's gonna have a baby on the course. No, is
Sure,
that
there are doctors available.
Yeah, that'd be great. My child was born at Augusta.
Born to be great.
So he's the leader right now at the top of the leaderboard, 7 under. He could win his second gold jacket. Max Homa is up there as well at 5 under, but Colin Morikawa is in second place at 6 under par. So coverage starts for that right after our show. Not here on the Fan, but it does start at 11 a.m. And the final group tees off at 11:35.
You know, lost in all this, it's been a really fun Masters to watch when you could get the good holes or catch the great moments. Like I think they had some of the windiest conditions ever on Friday at that course in Augusta. So it's been entertaining, but yeah, it sucks that they don't have all the right featured groups.
Also, I don't know. It's just that this has been a tough course this week with the conditions, like you're saying, with the wind. And then yesterday the course was playing super hard. Like, dudes are scoring low. And it is like ugly. And someone on the coverage yesterday was saying, he's like, gosh, we need to give these fans something to cheer about, because I mean they might have to start cheering for bogeys out there.
Let's make things more difficult at the Masters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's go ahead and throw in some wind and some other elements. So yeah, I mean, it's been, for what you've been able to see, and mind you, I haven't watched nearly as much as either of you, but what we've been able to see, it's been fun when we've been able to see it. But you know, I haven't been trying to watch, you know, Amen Corner or holes 4, 5, and 6 or anything that's online. Like, if it's not on TV at that point, then I'm kind of like, all right, bro, moving on.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what the reason is, and but to me, there should be no reason that CBS, whatever, should be locking down. The Golf Channel should be locking down the Masters. Like, we're starting at 8 a.m. and we're rolling through 4 p.m. all day.
Well, if you're saying Sky Sports has an issue too, and people are getting on the Brits, I would assume, guys, it's like the Olympics where they offer the coverage themselves. Like it's a single production group that gives everything, all the camera feeds, all the stuff to NBC, to ABC, to all the people worldwide in different countries. This might be on the people at Augusta, and whoever is hosting this at the Masters, it could be on them for limiting the production that people had this year. I don't know.
Yeah. I would like answers. I want answers, damn it.
You should write a,
strongly worded letter to the Masters.
Yeah.
Text Rop, see if he can ask questions while he's there today.
Yeah. Rop, the roving reporter at Augusta. I'm sure that's what he wants to do. What I do want to do next, though, is take a look at this NBA playoff final day. The playoff scenarios on this final day. There's a lot, so we're not going to get to all of them. But we'll take a look at what's locked up, what's at stake today, because, again, 15 out of the 20 seeds in the NBA playoffs are up for grabs today on the final day of the regular season. We'll get to that next here. Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan, but Schultz, Sports Center update.
Now, from From the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the final game of the regular season has mercifully arrived for the Portland Trailblazers as they host the Sacramento Kings. Malcolm Brogdon, Timani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp, and Matisse Thybulle all out. Ant Simons and Jabari Walker are doubtful. DeAndre Ayton and Scoot Henderson are questionable. So once again, Portland going with like half their roster. We've gotten used to this, right? Sacramento is 16.5-point favorite. Tip-off at 12:30 p.m. on Root Sports. In baseball, the Seattle Mariners taking the loss at the hands of the Chicago Cubs yesterday, 4-1 the final. They do still have a chance at the series win today. Javier Assad and Luis Castillo hoping to rebound a little bit on the bump. First pitch set for 1:10 p.m. on Root Sports. And the final round of the Masters in progress right now. Scottie Scheffler, he is your leader at 7 under par. Colin Morikawa, second place at 6 under. They're both teeing off at 11:35 this morning. Max Homa at 5 under. Ludwig Oberg at 4 under. He's going to get going with Homa at 11:25. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Have you filed an auto claim with State
One last quick golf note because I was going off to Rashad in the break about Rory McIlroy and how he just drives me absolutely nuts when it comes to major golf. 2022, he finished second, and that was after a miracle chip in from the bunker on 18 that lifted him to a second place finish. He didn't really have a chance to win. I'm pretty sure Hideki had it locked up at that point. But two of the was it last year he missed the cut, and in 2021 he missed the cut at Augusta. So like this is my feelings on him, is that he had an insane run and he just never really has gotten back up to that level when it comes to major golf, and it just is infuriating because every major it's like, I think this is the one that Rory gets, and he hasn't done it for like 10, 11 years since he won his last. So anyways, done. No more golf. I swear, Rashad. I know you want to keep going. I know you want to keep going, bud.
We can keep the conversation going.
One stupid question. What was the last, not even major, when was the last PGA event that he won? Like,
well, he wins 2 to 3 a year. I mean, and it's like the CJ Cup is one of them.
He's winning like the Valero Texas Open kind of events.
And then he won the Tour Championship a couple of years ago, where it's like all based off of points, and then you go into the tournament with, you know, like a higher score than your contemporaries if you finished up higher in the standings. So like, is Rory good at golf? Yes. Does he disappoint time and time again when it comes to major golf? Yes. Both things can be true. All right, NBA season is coming to a wrap today, and there's still a lot to be decided. Basically, the only things we know at this point are Celtics, very, very good, number 1 seed locked in the East.
Right.
The 4-5 matchup in the West is set. You will get the Clippers taking on the Mavericks, which talk about an intriguing series there. I mean,
I love that.
The Clippers should win, but they'll figure out a way not to, is how I feel. That's my personal opinion on that series.
I think in the past, yes, you know, maybe the Chris Paul led Clippers.
There is James Harden is on that team.
James Harden is on that team, but like he's so good that people are making a big deal about the fact that he's not averaging 20. He's like, bro, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are both really putting in work and playing and putting in work.
What a concept.
Injuries are the only thing that are going to keep this Clippers team from moving forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that is Kawhi. I think I saw something that he was like 1.5% off from a 50-40-90 season this year.
That's insane.
Like, good for him, dude. I mean, way to have a healthy year, and even if you were healthy, way to play as much as you could.
Kawhi is like quietly like the perfect back. Kawhi and Paul George.
Quietly.
Boom!
Come on. You didn't do that on purpose.
I did not, bro. Like
best dad
I'm
joke
awesome
of the week.
But Kawhi and Paul George, if you think about it, they are really perfect basketball players. Like, there's nothing that they can't do. They do everything. I can get to the basket easy, middies, good, 3 points, good, defense, good. I need to rise up on you and finish over you, good. Left hand, right hand at the rim, good. Like, they are really, like, when they were asking kids, I'm sure you saw this, who's your GOAT high school kids, like the best high school players in the nation? Most of them were saying Paul George. Like, he can do everything. Him and Kawhi are scary. So I think, like, again, injury is the only thing that's going to keep them from moving forward.
What is yet to be decided in the West? The 1 through 3 seeds are still up for grabs. It could be Denver. It could be Minnesota. It could be Oklahoma City. All I know is if I'm in that 6, 7, or 8 seed, I don't want to face Denver. That's the one team out of those 3 where I don't want that matchup to fall into place. There is wherever Denver ends up in that 1 to 3 scale. I do not want to face them. Minnesota, they're a great team. They're getting Carl Anthony back, so they're going to be healthy. Anthony Edwards has been amazing this year. He has risen up the charts as far as one of the most dominant, electrifying players in the league. And then the Thunder, I mean, they're just deep. They're young. They're fast, full of energy. They're a fun team to watch. It's just they are very young and haven't been in this. They have not only have they not been in the playoffs at all, they haven't been at this level where you have expectations now to not just like be competitive in a series, but to have NBA title aspirations at this point. So, I mean, we'll see where they end up on the seeding, but big year for a big playoff run for them as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to compare them, but the Warriors were young. Yeah. They'd never really been, they've had that one playoff series the year before. And then after that, it was almost 10 years of dominance for Golden State as far as what they were able to do. I'm looking at this OKC team. They're athletic. They're super young, and they're so young to where they don't know that they're not supposed to be able to compete right now. Like, I mean, everybody else looking at them going, they're so young, they're not ready yet, and they're going, yeah, we are. Like, we're the number 1 seed, and it took this long to build this roster with SGA, and then you add a Chet who missed all of his rookie season, had to come back the next year. You add those Javen Ivies, all those guys. Like, this OKC team, I don't think anybody wants to play them in the playoffs. Like, they're really good. And I mean, really, their youth is the only thing that would stop them from doing anything. Minnesota is chippy. Minnesota, they play tough. I mean, which is crazy because I remember Jimmy Butler calling them soft. They ain't calling Cat soft, but Cat has figured out a way to really I think him being a number 2 now is the best thing that could have happened to Cat. Yeah. Clearly, Anthony Edwards is the guy, and now Cat can go to like playing a secondary role. And you forgot I could shoot threes, huh? Knockdown.
But I mean, as long as he's healthy, he's got to have a good series.
That's the only thing.
He's got to have a good series just to start. I think to have that confidence because he's had some duds in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Man.
And then Gobert is still an anchor. You know what I'm saying? He's still a defensive anchor that can change shots and block shots. I think Minnesota, I mean, is the second most complete team of those between them and Denver. Denver is Denver. I think this is probably their championship to lose this year. But they're insane. But I think if Minnesota gets this number 1 seed, Chris Finch needs to be coach of the year. 100%.
So I'm kind of interested. Obviously, the number 1 seed is going to be crazy, but whoever does get the number 2 seed is most likely out of those 3 going to have to face off against the Phoenix Suns unless just absolute chaos happens in the play-in. And I hate the play-in in the East. There's 2 teams under 500 in the play-in with like the Bulls and the Hawks.
Oh, God, yeah.
I digress. I cannot stand that we have allowed now 10 teams per league to have a chance at the playoffs. However, the Suns, I feel bad for them because they're 2 games better than the Lakers. They really should just be in the playoffs.
Well, I don't feel bad for the Suns, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I hate Devin Booker, but I digress. Like, the situation that they're in, I don't like. The Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder are all really good teams, but I do see the Phoenix Suns giving those teams problems, especially, not necessarily Denver, but I like Minnesota, I like OKC. But those teams, I feel like, could have a couple of matchup issues with Phoenix. I mean, Yusuf Nurkic, he's not great, but he's added some play down there. Like, basically, instead of having to dump the ball to DeAndre Ayton, they've now just allowed their guys to shoot. And it really does, I feel like, when Phoenix goes, frees up their offense to beat teams like Minnesota and OKC. So I wonder if you guys think that Phoenix is going to give the number 2 team trouble, because I do.
Well, let's take a break and finish up talking about this in the next segment because we're up against it, and I would love to talk a little bit more about the West and then also sum up the East as well. Because, there's just still a lot to be decided. Not even from the play-in aspect. I mean, in the East, 5 through 8 still has to be sorted out. So still a lot to be decided here on this final NBA regular season games. We will get to that next here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Time is running out. Final day. This is a great opportunity to save thousands on hundreds of in-stock spas. Portland Expo Center. Huge factory incentives and factory rebates on the spas you've always wanted. Don't miss this opportunity. Free professional delivery. Take possession tomorrow.
Oh dear God, Rashad.
I'm not saying nothing I haven't said before, bro.
Like I said,
Just
let's keep it on track. All right. We don't want to go all over the place with what we're talking about.
Bottle jacking right now.
That is what's happening right now.
I'm in here spitting truth.
No, you're not.
I'm in here spitting truth. That's all it is.
Western Conference. All right. So what else has to be decided? The 6 and 7 seed. So basically a playoff spot versus a play-in spot. New Orleans and Phoenix are the two teams that are eligible for the 6 and 7 seed. So big games for them as far as like not even dealing with the play-in mess.
Forgot
right?
to set the mood, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, round ball rock.
We're talking
basketball.
playoff
Basketball. Yeah.
This is LeBron James aging past 40, and he's still amazing.
He did throw like a reverse windmill the other night where I'm like, damn, dude, like what the hell?
And I wish that he were on a
Damn,
better team.
you're good. You guys must be at the top of the standings or something.
I mean,
Darvingham sucks.
depends on where the top is.
Top of the play-in, possibly.
And that shows the LeBron, LeBron effect. You don't have to be a great coach to get to the playoffs if you're LeBron. You don't have to.
They
be a
might
great
not
coach
even
win a
get to the
championship.
playoffs.
They might not, but they're going to get to the play-in, which is like a playoff.
Do you see the clip on Twitter of LeBron just walking away from the huddle as Darvingham was drawing up the play?
Not listening to you.
No,
bro.
not listening. Austin Reeves
sorry.
kind of followed him. Nobody
Listen,
on that
I
team.
can't listen to anybody that I cooked on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like if you played against, LeBron played against Darvingham and cooked him on
Yeah,
offense. I can't listen to you, bro.
That'd be tough.
I can't listen to you.
Do as I say, LeBron.
I'm sorry.
Not as I do.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. The rest of the play-in for the West, the 8, 9, and 10 seeds have yet to be decided between the Lakers, Warriors, and Kings. I just pray that the Warriors are promptly eliminated and the Lakers are promptly eliminated. I hope neither of those teams make the playoffs.
I don't want a heat situation for the West from last year.
Oh well, that's not.
No,
that,
thank
hey,
you.
trust me, but that's not going to happen.
No,
You- neither of those teams are going to make a run.
Thank God.
But I don't.
Okay, you
even
don't
wa-
think that's happening at all?
I don't
Good.
want to
I hope
even
not.
see them in the playoffs because the NBA has a terrible time. They're kind of like golf, where it's just like, let's hang on to Tiger Woods as long as possible. Let's hang on to LeBron and the Warriors and these two franchises for as long as possible when they're literally fighting for their playoff lives. So don't make the playoffs, and if they do, get the 8 seed and then promptly swept by the Nuggets. Thank you. 1, 2, 3 Bahamas. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a team of those that was going to make a run, I think we all think it would be Golden State. Like,
Really?
if one of them was to make this run, I trust the Warriors more than I trust Darvingham and the Lakers.
Yeah, I'd put it on Kerr. I think he could
You know what
actually
I mean?
wrangle those guys
like,
together.
yeah, at the end of the day, you still got Steve Kerr, you still got Steph
You know,
Curry, and then Kuminga is probably your second best player overall right now.
I'm not
He's
even
been
gonna.
shooting well.
I'm not even gonna put this energy out into the world. That is even a
I'm not
possibility.
saying they will, but if there
Okay?
was a team that was going to do it, I would put my money on Golden State.
Not having it. Not having this S. Eastern Conference. We said this a month or so ago. If the Celtics do not just work their way through the East and end up in the NBA Finals, like with only losing 3 or 4 games, like there should be no other team that pushes them in the playoffs.
The thing about the playoff basketball is it's a lot of half court offense. Like you're gonna see some runs and everything like that, but you're gonna see guys that really have to
It's methodical.
step up at the end of games and at the end of the shot clock and make buckets. Jason Tatum does not play well in clutch time, crunch time games. When the game is close at the end of the game.
This Celtics team will blow a 20-point
Yeah,
lead at
that-
some point.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
This
Like
playoffs.
if you can keep it close with the Celtics, then I think you've got a good chance and maybe knocking them off. So I do see a Milwaukee potentially, if Giannis is healthy.
7-game series are just so different, though. It's,
It's a
if you
chess
can get
match.
him once, like, hell yeah, all right, we got him. But to be able to beat the Celtics team 4 times over a 7-game series,
I think the first round needs to go back to best of 5 anyway.
it should. Oh, I 100%
I think it needs to go
agree
back
with
to
you.
best of 5. Because
That
game
is-
1, you lose game 1, game 2, it really means nothing. It's cool, back to even, whatever. But you lose game 1 in a 5-game series. I'm not saying it's panic time, but yeah, it's time to figure out how the hell we fix this.
I agree with you guys 1,000%. It's never going to happen, though. They love that money.
Yeah,
Extra
exactly.
games. It sucks. But I don't want that either.
2 through 4 seed still to be decided in the East between Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the Great Land, New York Knicks, and Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland?
Yes, Cleveland has a chance. I believe if it ends in a 3-way tie, Cleveland does get the 2 seed. But also what has yet to be decided is 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those seeds are all still up for grabs. The only things decided in the East are the Celtics at 1, the Bulls at 9, and the Hawks at 10. And I swear to God, if either of those teams somehow make it into the playoffs, like those two were clearly the worst teams of playoff-eligible teams out of either of these conferences.
Chicago's back in the playoffs. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. So the fact that they even get a chance, this is part of the play-in problem, is why?
They are 24.
Why do we need to see the Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks play each other for a
Because
potential playoff spot?
Because it's compelling basketball.
24 games out of first place? Really? That's compelling for you?
For someone.
I
Not
almost
for me.
swore. That's bullshit.
Not for me, but man, yeah, the East.
someone.
The East isn't as people think. The East is bad, man. The East has a bunch of really, really good teams, man. Nobody knows it. Cleveland is cold. Cleveland, man. Donovan Mitchell, arguably the most disrespected and underrated
And he's healthy.
star.
He's
in the
healthy.
league.
He's
And he's
back.
healthy. Man, Donovan Mitchell this year is putting up damn near 27 points. Almost 7 assists. Like, there's a reason that this Cavaliers team is playing so well. And then you throw in, all the other. Like the Darius Garlands
You got
and
Karis LeVert off the bench.
Evan
hitting
Mobley.
threes.
Evan Mobley, like, come
Yeah.
on, man. This Cavaliers team is
Larry
scary.
Hughes.
And
Oh, wait.
we know what Donovan Mitchell can do in the playoffs. He gets to the playoffs, and he has almost a Jamal Murray-esque kind of, feel to him once he gets there. We've seen him do some
Who?
pretty amazing things, huh?
You saying that Donovan Mitchell? Oh, yeah.
Donovan
yeah.
Mitchell knows what he's doing in the playoffs. And
He
so
sure does.
I
Yeah.
add that with a rim protector like Jared Allen. There's no reason that the Cavaliers can't make it to the second round, maybe even the conference finals.
One of my favorite playoff series of all time was the Jazz Nuggets in the bubble. That one, they
Killings,
were
yes,
just
when they were
man,
going at each other.
That was a great playoff
Yes.
series.
And
Hot
then-
take that's not so hot. Cleveland will get further than Milwaukee in the playoffs. I don't think Milwaukee's getting past the first round.
Milwaukee's healthy, man. They're a great team.
When they're healthy, yeah.
Yeah, it's and I mean Milwaukee. We've seen them all year. They are just the model of consistency, aren't
Right,
they?
you know what I'm saying, and that's what you brought in. Doc Rivers is the model of consistency.
Well,
He's
they
consistently bad, and there's a reason that this team they should have been killing. They were killing before they made that change at head coach, and now since they've got in Doc Rivers, they are the definition of mediocre.
They may
And with-
not have Giannis.
And with Giannis out
Yeah.
potentially, for some of those games, we know unfortunately that Dame is great, but maybe not enough to get you over the hump. Just him. Do I trust just Dame and Chris Middleton to get you through the first round potentially of the playoffs? Not really.
So the 5 through 8, just real quickly to wrap this up, 5 through 8 seeds are still to be decided between the Magic, the Pacers, the 76ers, who just got Joel Embiid back,
That's
so
a
that
good
will be
news. That's
intriguing
good
there.
news.
And then, of course, the Miami Heat and playoff Jimmy Butler. We'll see if the Heat are able to make a deep run. Again, it's like you don't want to be the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference having to face the Celtics right away, but being the 7 or 6 where you face the Bucks or the Knicks, possibly, those are two matchups, especially with the Knicks not having Julius Randle anymore. And then, as you mentioned with Giannis's injury, it's like that's where a team like the 76ers or the Heat, where they can maybe get an upset in the first round and find themselves in the Eastern Semi-Conference Finals and possibly the Conference Finals.
I will tell you this: the Celtics do not want to play the Celtics or Milwaukee if they end up in the 2 seed. They do not want to play Jimmy Butler in the first round. There's something. Jimmy Butler is the Milwaukee's kryptonite. Milwaukee's beaten them once. I think Jimmy's pretty much put it on them every time they played, except for the championship year Milwaukee had.
And with the Celtics, I am just hanging my hat on. They were the best team, only 60-win team this year, dominant. That it really, I don't care who they face in the first round, whether it is the Heat or the 76ers, they're going to beat them.
Remember that year Dallas had the best record in the league and Dirk
Lost to the
won the
Golden
MVP,
State Warriors.
and then they lost in the first round.
To my boy BD,
I
Baron
can
Davis.
absolutely see the 76ers or the Heat being the team that put either Milwaukee or the Celtics out.
There's a reason that Tyrese Maxey was untouchable in a possible Damian Lillard to Sixers trade. Remember, before the actual deal happened, there were whispers of him to Philly, and it was like, well, if Tyrese Maxey were included, absolutely, but they said no. And yeah, when he's scoring 35 and Joel Embiid scoring 30, they're pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, they're pretty good, right?
All right, in classic sports radio terms, we'll see what happens. We got a lot of basketball to be played today, but let's tie a bow on this Blazer season. Thank God. We start hour number 2 next, right here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota
Reese.
Yes.
Who is she was born with a congenital heart defect. So unfortunately, at her young age of 8, question mark, I believe. I think she's turning 8 this year. She's already had like 3 or 4 open heart surgeries. So they had to go to Stanford last year because she was having some trouble, and it's just already been a tough life, and she has gone through a lot more than any of us have gone through in our lives. And one of her doctors said, like, hey, you should submit an application to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, just take a chance, see if they accept it. And sure as hell, she got accepted. So
awesome.
whatever her wish,
so cool.
I know. I was like,
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. So whatever her wish is gonna be, we'll find out. I told her, I was like, don't ask to meet a celebrity because you're just gonna, unless you make it something like, I want to spend a day with the Atlanta Braves.
Want to meet Doja Cat?
Yeah. You gotta get something good out of it. Not just like I want to hang out with this guy. No, I want to spend a day.
It's like you are
with my
gonna
favorite
be
team.
a thing, block on the schedule for an hour or two, and that's it. Like make it a day, make it a trip, like make it meaningful for you and the family to experience. But with that being said, when my sister told me that the other day, it reminded me of the scene off of Basketball when little Joey Thomas finds out that he has a wish. And the wishes he comes up with is like, I want to dump a bunch of flesh-eating piranhas into a public swimming pool. Or, how about we poison the water reservoir? And then they ask him, Joey, what do you truly want? Chelsea Clinton?
You've got a better chance at Bill.
That movie, dude, that's a obviously subjective top 10 sports movie of all time.
Ooh, that's a hot take right there.
Oh, it is. It is a
funny.
hot take, but
It is a very movie that
hilarious.
has Bob Costas,
saying
feel
these nipples.
That's again.
Come on.
That's
You're not getting that in 2024.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has a cameo in that movie, and we all know how maybe surly Kareem could be.
He's just sitting in the glass box,
sitting in the
on
glass,
display.
So yeah, some of the celebrity cameos that are in that movie were
Reggie
pretty
Jackson.
Good. Yeah.
I don't think there's like any sports parody out there that tops basketball.
Yeah, dude. It is just
that alone puts it in the top 10. Like it's like basketball, major league, kind of right under there,
Yeah, well, it's obviously the writers of South Park, but then the guy from Naked Gun, David Zucker, I want to say. He's the director, but God.
Speaking of Naked Gun, I actually watched it again for the first time in a long time.
Dude, speaking of Naked Gun, we haven't even got to the
news.
Juice.
To the Juice. I always felt so bad
my
about watching
gosh.
Naked Gun,
Oh my
and now that the juice is gone, I watched it and was like, this movie's pretty funny.
I've been waiting to say this on the radio all week. So, guys,
Here we go.
The Juice's soul is loose.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the guy did it. All right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, according to the court records of the state of California, he did not. But listen, he's dead, so it's not like I have to worry about any sort of defamation or anything. The guy did it. All right.
It's actually not even about that. I hate to break it to you, but the racial divide, it wasn't even originally about that.
Well, also, like, I think I saw a picture come across the timeline the other day of where it was like a college campus or something like that, where a bunch of students were watching the verdict. And I know this was the case all over the country, but it is
I was
just
watching
like,
it in 7th grade in gym class.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was my wife. She said
Yeah.
in gym class.
Yeah, in gym class we were watching that.
just the like. It could not have been like, yep, I'm not surprised by that. Literally every black person in that photo just, fist pumping, celebrating. Every white person just stunned, silent, hand over the mouth, looking at the TV.
Man,
just
we
like,
won. That's what that was. That's what
Exactly.
the OJ thing was for a lot of black people.
I understand. I understand.
Man, we won. Like, yes, Juice. Like, but in the back of our minds, I think a lot of people, most
yeah,
people,
he did it, but we
were like,
won.
A black guy got acquitted for something a white guy normally gets acquitted for.
Yeah,
that was
the way. And then again, coming off
Nicole Simpson can't rap.
coming off of the Rodney King thing and the way that they tore LA apart, after that, they knew that city would pop if OJ was
Yeah, I guess
was
I didn't really
guilty.
think about. I did read somewhere else that like years later, the jury, like some members of the jury admitting to like oh yeah, we didn't want that to go down. I feel like they needed
they
needed one here.
And
So.
also, like, if you look back, like, this should have been an open and shut case.
Yes.
I mean, if you're being real, this should have been an open, shut thing.
Suka's comment on this, like one of his dad's friend was like, I don't know the exact title, but like a district attorney or something up in Alaska. So big law guy, right? Big lawyer, all right?
Involved, deep in the system.
Yeah, and he said just like everything that came out of the case, that it's like the fact that he was acquitted is just like how in God's name.
Like the way that the prosecution screwed up everything, you know, the way that they put people on the stand that had no business being up there, like they systematically one by one just messed everything
The
about
infamous
that case
glove.
up. Like OJ should have went to jail at that point in most people's eyes, alleged.
Well, he did
You
go
know.
to jail.
He did eventually.
At one point.
He did eventually, but
Hey.
then he became an extra or like a correspondent on Cameron and
Hey,
Mace's
Twitter world.
show.
I need a drop of that.
Did you
Him
ever
saying,
see
hey,
that?
Twitter
Oh,
world.
I did.
Yeah, I mean,
What did he do?
He was like a correspondent on Cam and Mace's sports show. It is what it is.
Yeah.
OJ
He
was
would
on there
come
all the time.
give
and
hot
here's the
takes.
cool part, man.
OJ
I hate
here
to say
live
this.
at the Buffalo Bills
OJ
game.
was funny.
Yes.
OJ was hilarious. And I'm like, bro, I'm not supposed to be laughing at OJ, but he was really funny and really poignant as far as football and stuff like that. But so that whole, like, he was so charming, he was everything. I can see that because, man, this
Man,
dude
can
was
he run that
hilarious.
football?
Well, and according to Alan Dershowitz, guys, I don't know if you saw this, like after his death, OJ's death, Alan said, hey, the justice system works. And I'm like, really? I didn't feel like the justice system was meant to be manipulated and
Wasn't
put
he OJ's lawyer?
Yes,
Wasn't
no,
he was
yes.
one of his lawyers?
Yes,
Like-
but he's saying because of this acquittal, it proves that the justice system works, as opposed to really it's just subject to a lot of money can create a situation with smoke and mirrors and kind of muddy up the waters for a lot of jurors instead of actually finding guilty versus innocent. It's just like, yo, the evidence is there.
For me, the best part of
F.
this whole thing was the Heisman Trust coming forward and being like, we mourn OJ. I was like, I thought OJ wasn't a part of the Heisman anything anymore. Didn't they like disassociate OJ from the Heisman?
Well, I definitely
Trust?
haven't seen him up on the stage
Yeah,
in
no,
any
it's
of the
been a while.
Heisman ceremonies, so I'm gonna assume not. That's like when someone dies and it's the classic. You have a picture of them, so you throw it up on the Instagram, like, "Hey, I met him once. R.I.P. homie."
You know,
Sorry.
I had a buddy.
Sorry about the death, bro.
I had a buddy of mine, a couple buddies of mine actually, pass away over the last like year. And I felt so weird about posting about them and sharing a picture that I had with both of them. I felt like I was reaching a little bit. Like,
Well, I feel like it's I see it more with the celebrities more than anything. Like someone dies, like, here's the one time I met him. Let me make it about me. Now I'm gonna go through I'm gonna go through my IG timeline because I'm pretty sure I did that about Bob Saget. Now that I think about that,
did you really?
I definitely have.
You met Bob Saget? You met Danny Tanner? Where?
It was at the old studio when
okay.
we used to do stuff with the Helium Comedy Club, and I was
I'm so jelly.
I was producing Dirt and Sprague show that day, and
That's awesome.
yeah, he came through. Met Craig Robinson also one time too.
Really?
He was high off his ass off of gummy edibles, like he was cooked.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of edibles.
He was
No.
was eating them like candy, like just one
Well,
after another. One after another,
Yeah,
though, and it was
technically they
like
are.
I was like, I don't know if you're supposed. You know what? You do you.
Nice guy,
You
not
do
that
you.
funny in my opinion. Sorry, Craig Robinson. Hot take.
Well,
He's got
Depends on
like
what he's
four,
in.
he's got like 4 shows on NBC because he's a nice guy.
he was classic on Pineapple Express, all right?
Well, yes, exactly. He's a great
rip somebody's jawbone off. I seen it.
supported character to the max.
All right. So we get some justice. We get some sweet, sweet justice because the Blazer season is over officially today.
You get put down humanely.
And Brandon Sprague was supposed to join us. He let us down. He said that he's not in a spot to talk, and I had to confirm it was that emotionally or physically. Like you're just like something's going down, and it's like no, I just can't. I think he is physically somewhere where he can't talk. Cop out.
He's watching the Masters.
It's a cop out. All right, not happy about it. But we'll talk Blazers next. The sweet, sweet release of this NBA season of the Portland Trail Blazers right here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Join 1080 The Fan and Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This Earth Day, we're teaming up with Free Geek for our Tech Now Drive. On April 19th, bring your unused laptops, tablets, and mobile phones to Washington Square. Free Geek's goal is to divert technology that would otherwise be recycled or thrown away, refurbish it, and give it back to our community at low or no cost. Our Tech Drive is Friday, April 19th from 11 to 4 in the Washington Square Mall parking lot. For more info, go to freegeek.org/technow.
Business. It's all the things that keep this world turning. And behind every one of these companies is a partner helping to keep it all moving. It's why the local flower shop and your favorite pizza joint, the startup and the stadium, hospitals and hotels, banks and restaurants nationwide all choose the advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and round-the-clock trusted partnership from
about the Blazers season.
That's easy.
I don't think you can come up with 5. So let's
could try.
Let's meet in the middle and let's do 3. What are 3 things, legitimate things? I don't want Blazers fan bullcrap of, well, I think Delano Banton showed that he has a future with this team, and no, don't give me that.
I can give you 2 things.
Duop Reith. Man, I see a potential 2010 guy there. I don't want to hear any of that crap, all right?
Okay, 1 thing then.
I want 3 legitimate positives from this season. I want to see if we can do it.
I'm on the Delano Banton bandwagon. I don't know about you. I'm being for real. Like,
somebody has to score 30. All right, somebody has to score points for this team.
It's not easy to get 30 in this league, and so. But either way, I think the first thing that the really the best thing that could have come of the season is, I think we're seeing the number 1 pick in DeAndre Ayton. I think he's finally got to a point to where.
You think that Ayton's success, especially in the second half of the season, is sustainable and something that we can rely on for multiple years?
Absolutely, I do. Like here's somebody that showed you he can hit that free throw line extended jumper. He obviously, once he's inside and towards the middle of the paint, he is as dominant as anybody in there. He can block shots. He's shown you that he can be a defensive anchor, and can also be your number 1 scorer on the other side, almost like a poor man's Joel Embiid, you know. So I don't really want him taking that 3-point shot, but I'm okay with it. The way he's played throughout, now mind you, it hasn't equated to wins, but I think he's finally figured out what his role should be in the NBA, is to be a big man that can play big. And so I think that's the first thing that I would say, with all the losses and all the disappointment, DeAndre Ayton's maturation as a player. I think if Phoenix had this dude that he is now when they made the finals back in, was that 2019, 2020?
I believe it was 20.
No, whenever the Bucks won, 21 season. Yeah,
so the one after the bubble.
So yeah, so if they had this guy in that 21 season, they probably win that championship. But he wasn't that guy. But remember, end of the game. Game 3, game 2, 3, 4, whatever it was, that inbound play, who the dunk go to finish that?
Went to DeAndre.
Beautiful. So like, I think Ayton could very well be the star that we've been looking for, as far as somebody to put us over the hump with other guys coming back.
That's one.
All right, I got like one actually sort of good one, and then one that's kind of bad but good.
A Blazers fan stretch, if you will.
It is not a Blazers fan stretch. It's actually kind of a glass half empty, but in the end, it's because I'm looking at the glass being half full, if that makes sense.
Well, there's only a couple drops in the glass right now.
You're not wrong.
I'll take a glass half empty.
All right, you know what? Let's start with that one. This season has exposed, so this is initially a bad point, this season has exposed Chauncey Billups as a terrible coach in the NBA, and finally given Joe Cronin and the rest of the front office a reason to move on from him. So I do think that this crappy season of coaching, regardless of the players, guys, he hasn't developed defense. They're still terrible. They don't effort on the defensive end.
Well, he clearly said when he got hired, I'm not much of a defensive coach.
Well, that's what they needed, unfortunately. And I'd rather have Scotty freaking Brooks, their assistant, running the sidelines at this point, because it's obvious Chauncey doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like that's been exposed, and it forces the front office's hands, okay?
So it's a negative turn to positive. You feel like, hey, Chauncey's been exposed, and we can now officially move on from him.
We can really start over.
And we can look somewhere else now, for the love of God.
For the love of God. And the quick second positive I see is the time that the young players have gotten to develop on the court this year. Whether or not they've taken advantage of that fully, that's another argument to be had, but positive, they have had time. Rupert and Murray and Henderson and Duopere, I don't care that this player's not that great. What the point is they've had time to develop the young guys. So that is, in technicalities, a positive for this team, right? That's all I got.
I'll accept it. To an extent. And this is also like to go on, like a Scoot Henderson tangent here, is that Devin Booker, when he was in Phoenix, the first 2-3 seasons, one of the things that he accredits to his success now is that he was thrown to the wolves early on in his career, that it wasn't let's hold him back. Let's try and build him in the gym. He played. He played a lot. He had to lead the team. He had to put the franchise on his shoulders. And the Phoenix Suns were garbage. Like that's why they got the number 1 overall pick to get DeAndre Ayton that year, is because they were one of the worst teams in the league. I believe it was basically when they were when they got to the bubble as one of the teams that invited, is like that was when they were starting to show signs of, hey, maybe Phoenix can start being a competitive team in the league. But that was, again, 3 years after Devin Booker had gotten drafted into the league. So if you want to take, again, a negative and turn it into a positive, like, has it been a rough rookie year for Scoot Henderson? Yeah. We've heard that, obviously, teenage point guards that are drafted this high in the league, Danny Meringue has lamented this multiple times, along with a lot of other things with the Blazers season and why we need to look positively at that. Neither here nor there, but I think especially with the way Scoot has looked in April, that is one thing where younger guys playing as much as they have, you're not going to get better by sitting on the bench and in the practice gym working on drills and fundamentals. Yes, you can get better, but to be a better NBA player in game action, you should probably play. And so, yes, these younger guys have gotten a ton of run, a ton of action against some of the league's best. And that is the one thing that going into the next season, you have the experience, all right? You're not like a deer in the headlights as a young player in the league anymore. That is the one thing that I will say, especially when it comes to Scoot. And I don't want to pull comparisons to other rookie point guards and rookie players that were drafted top 3, top 5 over the years, because you can pick and choose like, oh, wow, look at his stats compared to Russell Westbrook his first year. Well, also look at his stats first year compared to Michael Carter-Williams, and we saw how that worked out for
Antonio
him, right?
Daniels.
Again, so we can pick and choose stats as there are. The one thing that going into next year is when it does come to draft class. And we know that this draft class we don't know. We've heard that the talent is not nearly as great as what's available next year. So that's when I look at next season are we looking at another bottom 5 record in the league next year to tank, to try and put yourself in a position to get talent in next year's draft? Because apparently it's loaded. It's not just Cooper Flagg. There's a few other guys. To quote Danny again, he was saying on Twitter that, like, you want to tank next year. Like, there's plenty of talent coming into the draft next year. So how good do you want to see this, or do you want to see this Blazers team repeat this? Maybe not this bad, but again, be in a position to be able to draft high, or do you want to see them fighting for a play-in spot? Because the Portland Trail Blazers, to be a winner, a consistent winner, top 3 seed in the West year in and year out, I believe that you need to get high-end talent in the draft, and the only way to do that is to be one of the perennial losers for 3-4 years. And so next year, I think you need to see improvements, but still in the bottom 5 of the league as far as record goes, to put yourself in a position to a high draft pick.
See, the way this NBA is going now, I don't know if the Blazers necessarily need to do that. I mean, seriously, with the healthy roster, which is the one thing we can say all year the Blazers haven't really had. They've had spurts when they finally get all 5 guys healthy, but there's never been a lineup that included for multiple games.
The injuries, the consistency of a lineup,
this entire Blazer squad.
Yeah.
So do I think that they would?
Do
I think they'd be this bad with Malcolm Brogdon and Shaedon Sharpe and
Robert Williams
and Robert Williams like as in a backup role, at that point, and DeAndre Ayton and
Matisse and Anthony
and Simon. Do I think that they're going to be that? And then Scoot. The Blazers haven't been winning. But as a rookie, he's hit his stride, and albeit at the end of the season.
April's been great for him.
April's been great, but listen to these numbers: 20.6 and 6, 13, 8 and 9, 22 and 10, 19 and 7, 15 and 8, 19 and 15, 18 and 12, 30 and 7. Like, he's figured out finally, like, this is how you do things. Now you add better players around him. I don't think that we're going to be in a repeat. I think they're going to be better the next year and play in, if that's where it starts, because that's where it started for OKC. Let's just make the play in and let's see what's going on from there. Now we're talking about OKC having an opportunity to be the number 1 seed in the league the year after. It can happen, and I think this Blazers team is talented enough. The whole thing is, can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy? And do they have the right leadership, to you and Jordan's point, to be able to move forward?
I want to take a break. There are some texts coming through on the Vancouver Ford text line. I want to read a couple of those in the next segment, which we will do next. First, Schultz Sports Center update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the final game of the regular season mercifully arriving for the Portland Trail Blazers. They face off against the Sacramento Kings. Malcolm Brogdon, Tamani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp, and Matisse Thybulle all out. Anthony Simons and Jabari Walker doubtful. DeAndre Ayton and Scoot Henderson are questionable. Sacramento a 16.5-point favorite. Tip-off is at 12:30 on Root Sports. In baseball, the Seattle Mariners taking the loss to the Chicago Cubs yesterday. 4-1 the final. They still have a chance at the series window today. Javier Assad facing off against Luis Castillo on the bump. First pitch set for 1:10 p.m. on Root Sports. And the final round of the Masters in progress right now. Scotty Scheffler, your leader, at 7 under par. Colin Morikawa is in second at 6 under. They're both teeing off at 11:35. Max Homa at 5 under. And Ludwig Oberg at 4 under are both going to get going at 11:25. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Portland Perks. Right now, the Campbell course is offering 50% off a full round of golf for children, adults, and senior citizens. Home to the first tee of Greater Portland. The mission of the Campbell course is to provide character building and life skill lessons through golf. Only available on PortlandPerks.com.
Do you also hate cold showers? If you prefer hot showers over teeth-chattering ones, it's important your water heater is served regularly.
Though.
Yeah. Put it in the creek. Put it in the creek. Come on. That is like it is like the only sports gambling I do
Phil.
now.
Looking good, Phil.
I guess. Whatever.
Man, he looks the same.
You know he finished second last year, right?
Yeah.
Like tied for second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be cool to see him, play more often. Oh, wait. Would be cool to see a lot of these guys play more often, but I digress. Want to read some text messages from the Vancouver Ford text line about the Blazers. If I remember right, Chauncey was the one to make Dame happy. Well, yeah, I mean, from when he was hired to what it is now, this is why I think that it's time to find someone that is better on the developmental side of NBA basketball. Like, whether it's a name that's been around and has coached winning teams and winning franchises, or it's a dude who has just put in his time and is known throughout the league as a developing assistant coach. Like, who the hell had heard of Mark Daigneault before he got the Thunder job, right? Who the hell had heard of Chris Finch before he got the Timberwolves job? Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, right?
Even Stotts was a head coach, but a relatively kind of whispered about name as opposed to being really talked about.
Coming from Dallas, that was the whole.
So for Chauncey, and you mentioned it, like before he even got hired as the Blazers coach, he was an assistant coach for the Clippers for a season?
That was it. It wasn't much.
Like, what are we doing? And he was doing media before that, so it's like his track record of developing young talent, not really there.
And that's what happens when you try to appease a superstar. Right? They tried to do that with Giannis in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's struggling because of it. They tried to do that with Dame, and now for the third straight season, the Blazers are at the bottom of the barrel. So, I don't think necessarily they didn't used to do that. Back when, obviously, when Jordan or whomever was no, they didn't hire coaches to appease the superstar for the most part. They made a decision and said, this is what we're going with as a franchise. The Blazers need to do that regardless of who they think is calling the shots.
I do want to remind everybody, too, that Chauncey Billups was actually not just the organization's probably second choice, but Damian Lillard's second choice. The early names that were being thrown out were Jason Kidd, now current Dallas Mavericks head coach, along with Chauncey Billups. And Dame threw his name in the Jason Kidd camp before Chauncey, but Kidd publicly withdrew his name from the Blazers job before anything even happened.
He knew he was going to Dallas. I don't want to go to Portland.
Which is just crappy. That was a crappy situation that the Portland Trailblazers were put in, but Chauncey was the second option here. So
Another text message from the Vancouver Ford text line, as I forget that I'm on radio, need to turn my mic on. P1 Rich from Troutdale, the Blazers were able to identify possible complementary role players for the future. Yeah, I guess. I mean, when you look at the roster,
Jaleel Banton.
Stop. The only players that I really, truly care about are the rookies and the guys that we've invested draft picks in. As far as, it kills me, like a Jabari Walker, like an undersized big. Is he really going to have a future, not just on this Blazers team, but in the NBA? I remember years ago, people were like, I like what I see from Moses Brown. Well, he's a two-way G Leaguer now for Dallas, okay? Duop Reith. He's
Caleb
a 20.
Swanigan is really going to be a cornerstone of this Blazers team.
He's a 28. Hey, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Duop Reith, good, fun year for him. Again, we needed someone to be a big, backup big, right? There's got to be someone. I put him in the Delano band pool. Somebody's got to play, right? Somebody's got to get minutes, right?
But he's not a role player. Like that, Drew Eubanks, perfect example. Somebody that in the Blazers roster time rose to the situation. I think got that 1-year contract with the Blazers after that, and then finally, after Dame let go, they have no need for a Drew Eubanks. So he used that time to become a role player. Not necessarily a impact role player in the NBA. He is like the 9th, 10th guy off the bench, if that, in Phoenix. And that's basically, guys, what Duop Reith is. It's not like he's going to be the 7th guy off the bench in anywhere but the Portland Trailblazers roster land.
He's good for the Blazers.
Exactly.
But for another team, a competitive team, he's probably not playing that much.
Again, there's a handful of guys that, and excuse me, I say Moses Brown, I meant Greg Brown.
Moses is currently on the Blazers.
Moses is on the Blazers, but we'll see how much longer that lasts. When I'm looking at the roster, I look at guys like Ryan Rupert, which very young. Again, as far as what was given up, 2nd round draft pick for him. I mean, I believe he might have been in the trade, involved in the Dame trade. Tumani Kamara, Scoot Henderson. It's wild to think too that Shaedon Sharpe is 20 years old. along with Scoot Henderson, who just turned 20. So keep that in mind. And Chris Murray, like basically a handful of younger players. Anthony, and granted, he's only 24, so you want to talk about another younger player who it's like him being that young, like he's been in the league for how long now? You'd think he's like 27, 28 or something. But this is going to be an interesting offseason as far as what we do with him. I mean, if he comes back, if the Blazers bring him back, he's making $24 million. I haven't looked at his contract to see how many years are left. I'm just curious to see what we do with some of these guys that are a little bit older. Like, what are they going to do with Jeremy Grant? Like, is it just let him, like, he's kind of a forgotten player in all this, right? Like, he is the designated, like, I guess I'm the veteran bucket getter here. So when I play, I'm the guy that has to get us 30. But yeah, he's been out as well too. It's just this team is so weird.
I don't feel like they've been together enough, long enough to be able to make a real judgment as far as what's going to happen, right? Like, I mean,
so wouldn't you know it, the Blazers this season and for next season, it all depends on health.
The only thing we know for sure is that as great as Chauncey is, and he's a Hall of Fame player, not the guy that should be leading this team. That's the only thing we know for sure, because we have yet to see this team consistently for 15 games in a row, 20 games in a row play together. And until we get a chance to really see that, I think it's tough to judge where exactly this team is. Like, there's clearly talent here. How do we coach that talent to the right spot? Like, that's the big question.
Last text message here. The positive was all the injuries. Brogdon, Sharp, Williams, Henderson, Simons, they all stay healthy all year. We win 30-plus games and screw up the draft pick. Blazers screw up being bad. So they're saying is like, hey, because of how this season went and guys not being together, we might have been a better team or put us in that 7, 8, 9, 10th draft slot, and then we're not looking at a high-end draft pick. And again, this is a bad draft class or aren't any good players coming out. We don't know that yet, all right? We were saying about Anthony Bennett a couple years ago. Does the guy even like basketball? He's looking like a top 10, potentially top 5 player in the years to come. So let's just
who?
Anthony Bennett. Anthony Edwards.
I was about to say from
Anthony Bennett.
He was a
Anthony
bust.
Bennett. No, he did suck. Yeah, you're right. Anthony Edwards. I mean, in the 2020 draft, being number 1 overall. Anthony Bennett. My God, like he wasn't even being sniffed as a number 1 pick until his name was actually called.
He went to UNLV, and I was shocked. Like, wait, what?
You weren't even cheering. You're like, huh? So again, like, let's just wait and see what happens with this draft class next year for the years to come. But I think there is the consensus that get the number 1 pick, get Alexander Sarr out of Perth, and pray to God that he ends up having good knees. And I think that is the consensus.
Yeah,
here.
just make it sound so simple.
Dude, I should be running the Blazers.
Yeah.
Should apply. Should have been doing it. Rashad is going to end up actually running the PGA Tour. We decided during the commercial break.
Easy.
He has a new rule for ball markers, which is exactly, I think, the number 1 priority.
Number 1,
on the PGA
we're going to have
Tour.
casual Fridays all of a sudden for the second day of the Masters,
and then I'll be running the Blazers, and we got it. We got it on lock here.
I like it.
Speaking of the Masters, though, the Jason Day, his sponsor is Malbon, which is a newer golf brand. He was wearing a very loud sweater vest, apparently, and they're like, yeah, you need to take that off. You will not be wearing that on our course. Like, it was...
But guess what? On Casual Fridays, you can wear whatever you want to.
Yeah, I think Casual Fridays is called the Live Tour, is what that is. They're wearing shorts.
Fair enough. Flip-flops.
Only black and gray, though. Only black and gray.
All right, let's wrap things up. I have something I'm doing next weekend where I will not be here on the show, but I wanted to bring it up to you guys because I have no idea what to expect. We get to that next to finish up the show here on Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Auto accident? I'm Leif with Leif's Auto Collision Center.
right, final segment here. I will not be here next Sunday. I am going to the town of Garibaldi with Papa Joe, with my father. And we're going on a fishing charter excursion where we are going to be taken out on a boat.
Right.
No shock there. Use a boat to do that. But I believe we got the at Garibaldi Charters the deep reef lingcod and rockfish trip with crabbing. On their website it says 6 to 8 hour trip. Apparently we have to our hotel is like right there in Garibaldi by where we have to be. But we have to get there at like 6:30 in the morning next Saturday. Not crazy about that. Apparently that's a fishing thing.
The earlier the better.
And I don't know why. I maybe because the water is colder and they're hanging out. And I don't know. But I'm not too stoked about that. 6:30 wake up time. Well, actually more than 6:30 because we have to be there at 6:30. So probably around like 5:30 or 6 or something. I don't know.
Yikes.
Traveling up to 20 miles offshore and fishing with our heavy duty reels in 300 to 400 foot water.
Can you swim?
I will not be swimming in the ocean. No. I attempted that once when I was in Hawaii. We did a snorkeling trip. And so they take you off however many miles, and they're like, so you can wade in the water if you want, obviously. If you're struggling, there's a pool noodle that you can kind of just put under your arm, so that way it kind of just keep yourself afloat, and then you can just hover on the surface. And I was like, pool noodle. No.
Give me the noodle. Give me the noodle.
Oh, dude, I jumped in that water, colder than I was thinking, so it was the automatic, like,
chilled you to the bone.
So you start breathing a little heavier, and I started to swim away from the boat a little bit, and then immediately swam right back to the boat. I'm like, toss me a pool noodle, Chief. We're gonna enjoy
stay
it
right here.
I want to enjoy myself and not fight for my life out here.
That ocean is treacherous. Were you off of the coast of Maui or?
Yeah. It was like I forget what the town is down there, Kihei, I believe.
I was off. I was on Kaanapali Beach, actually off the beach of Lahaina, the town that burned in the horrible wildfires. But before, when it was still burgeoning, before all that happened, there was a jet ski spot like right on the beach. You just go meet the guys, and then they take you out to like a boat.
My name's Kunu.
Basically. Very.
But it means Chuck.
Very tan, stoned dude, but very nice. But we get out there, and I had the same issue. I got on the wave runner or the jet ski, and it just, man, I could not control that in those choppy waters,
Listen,
dude. That
man,
sucks.
I
no way.
have profound respect for the ocean.
See, and
I don't mess
I'm
with
with
the
you.
ocean, man.
When I saw on the website, it's like, we're going 20 miles offshore. I'm like, can we go 5?
Yeah,
do we really have to go
that far?
20 miles? Like, is that completely necessary?
But it's a charter boat, so I assume it's a pretty nice size, or is it a skiff?
I'm not sure what the vessel is like, the fishing vessel that we'll be on. We can look up the crew members as well. I think just from looking at the pictures, I'm gonna throw out. So, how about those boarders? See what their thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I remember we were like in 8th grade, and we took a trip
beards.
to. We were going to the aquarium out in Newport, and before we did that, we went and did some whale watching and stuff, and we saw some whales, kind of jump right next to the boat. It's like, nope, get me out of here. Seriously, they might have been 40 feet away from where our boat was, and they were jumping. Just see how massive those whales were. It's like, nope, get me out of here. Don't want to be here anymore.
See, text line, Vancouver Ford text line. If the seas are rough, good luck puking for 6 to 8 hours. See,
oh my God.
And that's the one thing I'm worried about too. My dad said, he's like, "We'll take some Dramamine. We'll take some Dramamine the night before." My girlfriend got me the
patches.
No, some like bracelets or something like that, like sea something bracelets. A bunch of hippie voodoo magic. I'm sure that I hope helps. I hope it has some sort of placebo effect where it will make it so I'm not puking for 6 to 8 hours.
Oh, man. I didn't mention that on that trip, whale watching, everyone was sick because no one was prepared.
Of the boat, and being on the water?
No one was prepared for the back and forth swaying up and down. It was like, get me out of here.
Yeah. See, I mean, and when I did that snorkeling trip, granted, I wasn't in the boat, standing in the boat, but I was, fine. I didn't have any problems. I've never had seasickness problems, water sickness, being on a boat in any capacity ever in my life. So I'm just fingers crossed that this is not the time that it happens.
Right.
And I hope that I come back with plenty of fish.
Hey, man, bring some for me, bro.
I hope I just have enough for me. I got to stock up the fridge.
Man, don't be selfish, man.
Hey, no,
you
if you don't come
you
back,
can bring us a couple of pieces of fish.
Don't be
Joe.
shellfish.
if you don't come back with some smoked salmon, I'm gonna be personally offended.
We will not be salmon fishing. That is a different package. We did not pay for.
That's
like I said, lingcod or rockfish, I believe. And
Smoke some
I
rockfish.
like
for me.
rockfish.
But yeah, I'm looking at the deckhand Elena. I hope she's on the boat. All right, that's a Garibaldi 10 right there. Okay.
Garibaldi 10.
I mean, a Portland 7, but a Garibaldi 10.
I was
for
gonna say
sure.
like a Portland 5, but all right.
You're probably right, more so on that scale. But yeah, I mean, look at some of these guys on this charter boat, these captains. I mean, that is definitely, we're going to have some conversations for sure. All right, well, I will not be here next week. Rashad, Jordan, best of luck.
You got it.
We'll hold it down.
And yeah, wish me luck on the boat, and hope I bring home some type of fish, bring home some food.
Break a leg, brother.
I'm hoping so. Not literally, but yeah, I would love to catch a
hopefully
fish.
you don't.
You get knocked over
I
on the
can't
waves.
tell you
Cannot
tell you the last time I caught a fish. It's probably been close to 20, 25 years. So hoping that I get something. Appreciate everybody listening out there. Rashad, enjoy your Sunday.
Indeed. You
I
as
know
well.
you'll be watching the Masters, right?
Absolutely.
As you're looking down at your phone, shaking your head, no.
Absolutely. I'm re-signing into T-Mobile. I don't know why I have to do that.
You
but
you sold it on,
yeah,
for me there.
absolutely. I'm watching the rest of the Masters.
Jordan, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yeah, you guys too. Love you, Joe. Love you, Rashad. Love
My
you all
guy.
listeners. I'll be watching some sports today.
And everybody out there listening, you have a great Sunday. And if you aren't watching anything, enjoy the sunshine. And we'll catch you. I'll catch you in 2 weeks. We will catch you next week, though. Peace.
Join 1080 The Fan and Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This Earth Day, we're teaming up with Free Geek for our Tech Now Drive.